Hi, everyone. My name is Scott Walters, and this is the Walters Wanderings Travel Podcast. This is episode 31. If you can imagine that, I've automatically made it all the way up to 31, which means I'm getting old or something. Anyway, today we'll be having a special guest, Jill Paris, who's going to talk all about the wonderful world that is Charleston, South Carolina. And my promotion with this is simply this. If you book a tour with Jill when you go to South Carolina and you book the rest of the accommodations and all with me, I will give you 20% off the cost of the tour. Just show me a receipt and we'll be fine. So it's 20% off. Any with Jill was a wonderful tours of Charleston, South Carolina. She's going to talk about it right now, and voila, here she is. Jill, good afternoon, or how are you today?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. Everything is good in my world. So Charleston, South Carolina is a really unique place.
Yes.
It has a whole lot of stuff going for it. But I want you using three adjectives to describe Charleston, South Carolina, and then we'll go from there. Three adjectives.
Spectacular, unique, charming.
Okay, let's start with charming, because I think charming is. When I've been to Charleston, I found that there's sort of a laid-back kind of relaxed feel to it, and it is charming because a lot of the architecture from way back is still in place, and there's a lot of, and it's walkable, which I think is charming too. So when it comes to things that are charming in Charleston, and it also has a nice kind of alliteration to it, charming Charleston. What would you consider to be some of the charming spots that you like to go to and like to work with your people that you take on tours?
Well, the name of my business is Eclectic Tours of Charleston, and I chose that for a reason, because my tours are a little bit of this and a little bit of that. It's not just all Civil War history or all church history. What I do is I have 5 different unique walking tours, and they have themes. Like, for example, I have my Amazing Ladies of Charleston. What I did, it's the first tour I ever designed. I feel I walked down the most beautiful portion of the historic downtown district, what we call south of Broad. A lot of tours only remain up in the French Quarter. They just kind of cover one little area. You're going to walk on my tours. You're going to see not only the remarkable architecture of homes, but you'll see the hidden gardens, hidden alleys. We'll go to White Point Garden. We'll walk past historic homes. You know, it's that kind of thing. I try to have a little bit of everything for someone. You know, for example, when you say charming, you'll pass by, there's 105, what we call the carriage steps. They look just like a slab of stone sitting on the sidewalk. If you walked past it and didn't know what it was, you probably would just, think it was just, maybe a construction worker left something on the sidewalk. But I like to point out what I call my little nuggets, of the beauty. Just the boot scrapers, the door knockers that are symbolic, colors of front doors that have special meaning. Little hidden things like that. The window boxes are stunning here too. I call them the little front yards. And I purposely choose the streets that feature the most beautiful window boxes, such as Trad Street, which is the longest street in the historic district. It's the only street that goes all the way to the Cooper River and all the way to the Ashley River. So you're going to walk when you take my tours. You got to be in good shape.
Well, you have
to also give driving tours too. So
well, that's good. We like that option, and of course, since Charleston's near the ocean, it's not like you're a walking tour of San Francisco. So
yeah, that's true.
You will tend to be okay, and you'll still get your 10,000 steps in, which is also good. And it also will make you hungry and thirsty. And I think one of the things about Charleston that really sets it apart is the fact that it does have a very good culinary tradition that's somewhat different from places like Savannah and somewhat different from places like Atlanta, for sure. And can we talk about some of the great culinary finds you found in Charleston?
Yeah, well, eating is a particular pastime, a favorite pastime of mine here. There's really not a bad restaurant in Charleston. Seriously, the food is tremendous. And we have diversity as well. So, but for Southern fare, which is what a lot of visitors want to experience, I have some favorites for different reasons. Fleet Landing, which is one of the only restaurants that is actually on the water. They have amazing seafood, very fresh. There's a great little place that I found called Amen Street. It's right on East Bay and the corner of Cumberland Street. They have something called shrimp corn dogs. I know that sounds crazy.
That sounds wonderful, actually.
They're phenomenal, and their peel and eat shrimp is to die for. I mean, there's many, a raw bar that I love. Well, they have many other things too. It's called 167 Raw. That's fantastic. It's on King Street. The Darling Oyster Bar is always great. And I'm trying to think what else. Just Hank's Seafood is a favorite. But for other food, if you just want something just unique and different, there's a wonderful place called Leon's Oyster and Poultry Shop that I think has about the best fried chicken. And they have this scalloped potatoes in a bowl. I always tell all my guests with children to go there, because kids tend to really kind of feel at ease there. And because sometimes it's hard to find a restaurant that's going to please the mom and dad and the kids at the same time. A lot of kids don't like seafood. So I like to have in my, back burner places that will serve chicken tenders and that kind of thing. There's a great place called Bowen's Island. It's tucked down a long, windy road in Folly Beach. That is pretty great. It's kind of, you walk up, it almost looks like a fort. You kind of walk up these ramps and then you go up, it's all open air, and you can order what they call the Low Country Boil or Frogmore Stew. You can usually have it with shrimp, but I tend to prefer it with crab. But it has the red potatoes, corn on the cob, and little cuts of sausage in a broth. It's fantastic.
No,
but
I like
the sunsets
kind of
from there are spectacular.
All right, now I'm a big fan of breakfast. Okay, I love myself a nice hearty breakfast, and and a good Southern style breakfast always pleases me. Biscuits and gravy and little grits and all of that. Is there a particular breakfast spot in Charleston, or a spot that serves breakfast that's truly outstanding?
Miller's all day on King Street is pretty great. I think Poogan's Porch is really, really, really good. I think their biscuits are about the best in the city.
See, I'm a biscuit guy.
You'll love the biscuits at Poogan's. Yeah, the shrimp and grits is really good there, and the breakfast great. For a more just low-key, great breakfast, quick, yummy pancake, and for kids, Toast. In fact, that's right across from where I start my tours, and it's always good.
Well, that's good. You can have breakfast at Toast, and then we meet you, and we go on our walking tour.
Pretty much.
Now, my particular travel niche is families, and I'm glad you brought up, the need to sort of be able to know what mom and dad like and what the kids like too, and all of that. Do you have a tour that's more family geared, family centric, or are your tours more geared for adult only type of people?
Well, okay. I mentioned, now you're talking about my walking tours, right?
Right. Well, and then we can get to the driving tours too.
If that's okay. So I can basically customize any tour. I kind of do a quick assessment. I don't have 20 people on a tour. I never will. Although by the city of Charleston, I'm allowed to. I don't care for giving large tours like that. I think it's just go.
Oops. Oh, there we go. We're back.
There. Oh, sorry about that.
Yeah.
Cut out for a minute.
No worries.
So anyway, I usually have 2, 4, 6, maybe 8. Well, I have 10 people on a tour on Saturday. Things are getting busier, but my tours are a little more private and intimate. So, for example, I had a mom and a dad and then 2 kids the other day. And I kind of, do the qualifying questions and I find out what the kids are interested in. And then I'll ask them questions. I kind of get them into it. Or if the kid, you can see they're taking a lot of photos. I'll point out where the great places are and make sure the family's included and, you know, that kind of thing. But I can do any tour for that liking. But my biggest hit that is my blessing is the tour that I created last summer. There's a blockbuster TV show that just came out last year on Netflix. It's called Outer Banks.
Oh, of course, of course.
It was filmed here, and I'm a background actor, and also
Right, we understand. They need those sometimes, and you were free, and there you
yeah,
go. Your head's there, but you're not in the credits. I get it.
yeah, yeah. And so when the show aired last April, it was during the lockdown. And as a tour guide, I was literally creating the tour in my head as I was watching the show.
Oh, sure. I can see that.
I immediately got my liability insurance to give private tours by car and city certified. So I'm all on the up and up. I can take 4 people. It is one of the greatest tours I've ever created. I'm like, pat myself on the back. No, the kids love it. The parents love it. Because not only do you get to visit all these phenomenal film locations from the show,
right?
I also have little hidden things like the script. So they act out the scene on the dock. The little kiss in the rain scene where John B says, really, really, that's it. Okay. And the cutest thing, Scott, is when it's a dad reading the John B part and then look to his 13-year-old daughter, and we video it all. And I have all the snacks that the cast liked on set. I take everyone to this amazing donut place called the Fractured Prune. It's so much fun. We get out at every stop too. It's not just a drive-by situation.
No, I understand. That's actually good. It's the best of both worlds. I like that.
It's fun.
I do like that.
I'll be creating season 2 tour very shortly because we just wrapped here. I know they're doing some filming in Barbados right now, and
oh sure, Barbados. Why not?
I know, tough life, huh?
Yeah, right.
Well, I already have guests that are dying to come back to take the season 2.
That's wonderful.
Yeah,
that's wonderful.
It's so much fun because as a tour guide, I can also throw in cool history for the parents if they care to hear it.
Exactly.
Yeah, mostly the kids want to see this, and it's a wonderful way to cover a lot of ground too, to see a lot of beauty.
And something I'm going to tell you right now, I noticed this when I was on a tour in Amish country in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. There are actually little repeater radio transmitters that you can actually get for your car. And then what you can do is you can have it set to a frequency that's not a local Charleston radio station. And then you can have a car behind your car with more people in it that actually can listen to your commentary on whatever radio station frequency it is. So you might want to look into that to have a second car.
Well, actually, I do have tours that are large where they do follow me from behind. And we just call each other on, and then have.
Well, that's the other way to do it. That's the other way to do it.
Just do it. I probably have done about 4 tours now with parties of 8 or 10. And
right.
The kids usually ride with me and the moms and wherever, but and they take turns. And I try to save a lot of the stories about set for when we're in person, and
No, of course, I understand.
It works out.
Great. That's great.
Yeah, cool.
Now, staying in Charleston, obviously Charleston's a big enough city to have a lot of different hotels at a lot of different price points and a lot of different opulence levels. Some things are a bit more grander than others, and then you still have your chain hotels, which are wonderful and they suit the purpose and they get you the free breakfast and they get you the pool and whatever else. So, what would a hotel that's like boutique in Charleston that you would recommend, and maybe something that isn't boutique but isn't a chain either?
Okay. Yeah. See, I personally tend to like a boutique, more charming, not run of the mill type place. There's a brand new hotel that just opened up last year called Hotel Emmeline. It's charming and it's in a phenomenal location. And it has a great restaurant connected inside called Franny and the Fox. That's made to order pizza, and it's got a beautiful patio setting and outside. It's really, really nice. Let's see. There is Zero George, which is very high-end boutique and charming. The Governor's House, and also the John Rutledge Inn. That's more like where you're actually staying in an old historic home with rooms converted, and then you come downstairs, and it's kind of bed and breakfast opulence. You know, it's really, really, really nice. The Wentworth Mansion is kind of the high end of that. Grand Bohemian is not as large of a hotel. I wouldn't say it's boutique-y, but it's very kind of artsy, and it's got an amazing rooftop bar. So those are the big ones. There's also a lot of other little places. There's a little bed and breakfast I like called 27 State. Gosh, I'm trying to think what else. The French Quarter Inn is always a favorite. I have a lot of guests that stay there. So
there's obviously a lot of options for all kinds of travelers, which is great.
Well, Airbnbs everywhere, but they're also, this is what a lot of people are doing. They look up those vacation homes where it's like the extended stay and everything's included. I know a lot of people with large groups do that.
Sure, and fortunately, I have a whole bunch of those type of vacation homes, because I do have actual plugins with many of those kind of lodgings through several of my vendors. So I'm very pleased to be able to offer those for if you're bringing a group of 10, 12, 18 or whatever. If you're just a family of 5 like I am, you can just maybe find a regular hotel if you want, or you can go ahead and then get a 1 or 2 bedroom condo kind of place, where you can still be in the action.
I get a lot of repeat guests that have been to Charleston like every year or every other year. So they're always kind of looking for something a little bit different. So for example, they could stay on Isle of Palms, and get a car. And then it's only a 25-minute drive to downtown. And then also Shem Creek in Mount Pleasant is very popular. So, or there's Folly Beach or Kiowa, where they're having the PGA tournament there this year.
I know about Kiowa Island. That's a great resort, and the golf course is phenomenal there, and there's no doubt. I'm a golfer, so that's why I know.
Oh yeah, the Ocean Course. My brother is a very, very good golfer. That's his dream, is to come and play that. But it's I believe they have 6 golf courses at Kiowa.
They do.
They filmed Outer Banks there a lot, so
yeah. I'm a Kiowa fan, and like I said, it'll be good to have the pros play there again this year. So I guess basically in closing, because we've sort of covered everything. We've covered food, we covered drink. You had the rooftop bar you told me about. We've covered your tours. We've covered what's good about Charleston, and accessibility. There's Charleston Airport, and there's I-26. What about dovetailing a cruise? Because I know Carnival does do some cruising out of Charleston. And usually the cruises are only 5 days or so. They're not week-long cruises. So to be able to dovetail a cruise with days either before or after in Charleston, I think is a really good idea.
I'm not sure with the pandemic what's happening with cruises at the moment. I used to do tours for, have you heard of Transcoma?
I've heard of them.
Yes. They're more international cruises where they would just come in for the day, and I would give walking tours to their, they're mostly Germans. It was fun. It was
That's okay. It's okay.
But they basically canceled them for now. That'll be something to watch out for. But
exactly. It's a future trend.
A lot of people like to combine Savannah for a day or two, and then it's only about a 2-hour drive to Charleston. Then you could continue on up to Wilmington. Maybe you could go over to Asheville and then come down. It's, then you can kind of really see a lot, and,
Oh yeah, it's very nice. And there's certainly a lot of history, Civil War things we didn't even touch upon. There's all kinds of stuff going on in Charleston all the time. And it's a very dynamic city. And again, it's open for business. So, why not go?
Oh, we're busy right now. The weekends look like summer. I can't believe it. And we had a cold snap. Well, just like everywhere around the United States. But It's pretty glorious right now. It's sunny, blue sky. It's what, about 65 degrees. That's quite perfect touring weather. You know,
Of
it's just
course,
gorgeous.
right.
Just gorgeous. So
Well,
come on out. When are you coming for a visit?
now that I have to decide. I know I'm due to come down that way because I always enjoy going to Hilton Head, and I know it's on the way, so it's not even a big issue.
Have you ever been to Beaufort?
Yes, I have. That's a very quaint town. There's no doubt about it.
That's a nice little, 2-3 hour stopover too. If there's any listeners or watchers out there that like horseback riding, one of my favorite stables is in St. Helena, which is, right there at Beaufort. It's called Camelot Farms. It's like a dream. It's a 2-hour ride and through the most beautiful neighborhoods with the Spanish moss hanging and dreamy. And then you actually get to ride on the beach. It's fantastic. And it goes slow, and you don't have to be a great rider to enjoy it.
Well, that's me. I'm not a great rider.
Anybody can do it.
That's good.
Would enjoy it. It's wonderful. Yeah.
Well, that's good to know. And like I say, the whole low country area is very intriguing, and I think it's very underrated as far as United States tourism goes. And I really appreciate having you on board with me today about it. And again, just a reminder: Jill does these eclectic tours of Charleston, walking and riding tours. So you can either walk with her or you can hop along in the car, and she does them. And if you book a tour with her, when you book your regular rest of your trip with me, we'll set you up so you get 20% off the tour price when you send me a receipt. So it's pretty simple. I really appreciate you being on board with me today, Jill. I thank you so much. And I thank all my listeners and viewers out there for being part of the Walters Wandering Travel Podcast. We'll be back with more great stuff. So stay tuned wherever your podcasts are and wherever you can find me on my YouTube channel. Take care, everyone. Have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you.